What's up friends, Chook here and welcome back to Bit Heroes and Sunday Item Find Day. Before we get started with anything to do with Item Find or anything to do with actually doing some progression, I do have a friend of mine. Let's find him quickly. Oh shit, that was lucky, there he is. However you want to pronounce that. He does have 3 slots, friend slots to give away to anybody that needs them. So we'll get this over and done with at the start. He's been asking me, hey man, do you want to give away some, I've got some friend slots if you want to give them away to, you know, your viewers and stuff. And I'm like, that's awfully kind of you. And I've been meaning to do it for the past few videos and keep forgetting. So I want to get it over and done with now before I forget, as he did remind me this morning. So here he is. This is all of his gear and stuff here. He doesn't have a legendary mount just yet, but his rune's pretty decent. So we can go over there, speed, block chance, opponent's first attack deals 20% less damage, etc. His enchants, whatever you want to call them. I'll just quickly hover over them, you can have a look. So if you are in need of a level 225-ish DPS kind of dude, then by all means let me know in the comments below. There's 3 free slots to go that he's giving away, so to be the first 3 first in best dressed thing, whatever the hell that saying is. So the first 3 people that say, hey, can you get to add me please, those 3 people will get those slots. So yeah, if you can use him, let me know. Now that's done and that's out of the way, let's get started. It is Sunday Item Find Day, as I mentioned. I do have 2 super scrolls in my possession. I think I may also have like 1 cocoa left. No, I just have 2 super scrolls, but it is already 3:33 PM. And I'm going out tonight and I've got work tomorrow, so I'm not going to use one because I'm starting late today. So we'll just go with our typical normal 25% thing. We'll go on doing some trials, or gauntlet as it should be, I think, today. And we'll do it at 400. Smash that out. No, it is trials. I forgot which week it was. So we'll do 2 of these, do some world boss, and do some raid 6 heroic. Now, whoa, okay, Walkham nearly died there. That was a bit odd. I am trying Gummy and I am trying Meaty and seeing which one works. They both work kind of just as well as each other. So I've gone about this over this, the benefits, pros and cons to both of them, and I'll just quickly touch on it again. So Meaty, his massive pro is that he's just a massive meat shield that just doesn't die. It takes a very, very long time for him to die because he has so much health and like 20 something, 15%, 22%, something like that absorb chance, like quite a bit. So he's just a brick shit house of health, basically. His cons is literally everything else. He doesn't attack hardly ever because he's got no speed. When he does attack, he's got no power for it to do anything. He may as well not have moves. He may as well just sit there and just take damage. Which is good because the less damage, the less speed he has means the less damage, the less turns he's going to have, which means that you and your DPS familiar, or if you're a healer, well, it doesn't really matter. You and your other familiar, we'll say, will have more chance to do damage and stuff. But all he really does is just stand there and take hits. Whereas Gummy, for instance, has a decent amount of stamina, but also a decent amount of power and speed. So he has he has attacks quite a bit, and when he attacks, he actually does like decent-ish damage. But he also has the 25% chance when he's hit to spread heal you. I want to say it might be shield, spread mitigation you, either way, which is handy. So he's not as defensively strong, not as like tanky as Meaty, but he does damage, and he also has a 25% chance to spread, we'll say shield, sure, spread shield you. So yeah, all in all, they're kind of interchangeable. One is like a more DPS-y one with some mitigation built in, the other one is just a pure tank. So they seem to work well, whichever one I use. So I do just auto 400, and generally don't have too many troubles, depending on which one we use. So we'll use Gummy for this one and showcase that. So by the end of it, we're pretty much all at full health. I could probably push up and try and do 450 if I paid attention. Maybe if I manualed, I could do 500, maybe. But I'm all about that auto life. So we'll chuck Gummy out for the moment. Let's just see what it is. 25% spread shield. There you go. And he's also got a spread heal as well, which is handy. So mix him in with Walkham. You've got heals going on. for 1 SP for both of them, and he also has the 25% chance to spread shield you when he gets hit, and you can see there that his stamina is still quite high. So he only has 11.25% absorb chance. That's his only downfall, really. It's not that high, but I actually really like him. I think he's pretty good and probably underrated. I don't think many people have him, but I think he's really good. Meaty, on the other hand, on the other hand, has 15% absorb chance, so better, but still kind of low. But look at this. This is retarded, right? 187 speed and 125 power. That's nothing. That's what I was saying. Like, he hardly ever has a turn, and when he does, it doesn't do anything. Spread heal your teammates for basically nothing. He doesn't do shit. He just sits there and takes hits. But sometimes that's what you want. So we'll do that, and we'll go through. So like I mentioned, I try to get to people's questions and any topics that come up during the week and stuff. And I've had a bit of familiar questions this week, particularly about tank and healers, which seems to be the ones that people need more, right? Not as many people need DPS familiars, because most people run as a DPS or a bait. These well, in general, like, there's not many full-on tanks these days, especially newer players and stuff generally go DPS. So a lot of questions have been like, there was one, what was it, to use I think it's Kringle, maybe one of the holiday familiars that has, I think it's 30% in power and 15% dual strike or something like that, but has a spread heal on it. Or use, I think it's Drazik, or something like that. One of the Netherworld familiars, which I don't have the schematics for. I went over that on Thursday video actually. I don't have any of the Netherworld schematics because I've basically never done Netherworld as a world boss. I've always done Orlag. But he has a target enemy 1 SP move that hits like a truck. And he was asking me which one he should go for, and I said, well, if you don't have like a Walkham or a Wembo, you don't have like a healing familiar, then go for the Kringle, or I think it's called Kringle. Go for the healing one, because you need a healer. If you don't have Walkham or Wembo, especially early on, their Wembo's particularly is the easiest legendary healer familiar to get. I would say, hands down. Okay, so Wembo's Walkham's almost dead. Let's just chuck him a potion. I think this is where the benefit of Gummy comes in, because not only are you getting that spread shield from being hit, he also has a 1 SP spread heal as well. So, you know, he can compensate and help with Walkham. That's why I've been using him a bit more than Meaty these days. Anyway, if you don't have Wembo, which is the easiest one to get, and Walkham, they're like 2 of the most popular kind of healing fams, especially early on, or earlier on, then yeah, Kringle was the right choice, I think. But if you needed like a DPS for your PvP or something, then Drazik is also, providing his name's Drazik, really good. But I think getting a decent healer and a decent tank is #1 priority, because even then you can use them in PvP anyway. So say you've got Bobodom and Wembo, right? Bobodom and Wembo, not the best for PvP, like Wembo's alright, but Bobodom's not that great. He just kind of sits in the front and doesn't do a hell of a lot. But they're like pretty necessary for Trials and Gauntlet and all that sort of thing. So I think getting a legendary fam tank and legendary fam healer as soon as you possibly can is the way to go. Then from there you can choose and pick them whatever you want. So if you want to get like some DPS fams like Korgs, or that Drazik guy, or Fatty, or Yorlag, or any of those guys for PvP, then you can go ahead and do that. But I think getting tank and healer is definitely more important as the first 2 to get, unless you're running as the tank. If you're running as a tank and you plan to stay tank the entire time, then you don't need a tank fam. You could go for a healer and a DPS, or you could just go for 2 healers. You could like run with 2 Wembos and then, or 2 Walkhams, or 1 of each, or whatever you want to do. In which case they're also going to do damage, and they're going to heal as well. So being a tank in this game actually is more preferable. I wouldn't say more preferable. You have an easier time in this game being a tank than you do a DPS. We'll put it that way. And if you've been watching my content for a while, I've mentioned a lot of times that in pretty much every game I play ever, I play a tank. If there's a tank character, or if it's an RPG or an MMO or anything like that, I always go like a tank or tankier side of things. And just as a apart from World of Warcraft, where I went a Warlock and a Hunter, they were my main two. Just because I always go tanks, and sometimes I just want to switch it up and do something different. So when I started playing Bit Heroes, I had no idea whether it was just going to be like one of those, I'm sure you guys have played phone apps before, phone games before, where you've gone, oh yeah, and then you play it, and after a month you kind of go, I'm sick of this, and give up on it, right? I had no idea when I started that I would still be playing this however many year and a half, 2 years later. I'm not even sure, to be honest, how long it's been. But I thought, oh, I always go a tank, screw it, I'll go a DPS this time. And then, little did I know, ended up going to be playing it for ages, and making content on it, and being one of, you know, the YouTube's bigger content creators for the game. So had I known all that was going ahead, I definitely would have gone tank, because it's my preferred playstyle. But really, it doesn't matter. You just compensate what you don't have with familiars, and that's what I was saying. If you're a DPS, get a tank and a healer straight away. Bobodom and Wembo always have been and always will be my recommendations, because they're the easiest to get. If you're a tank, then you can go for a DPS or a healer, or two healers, whatever you want to do. And healing, a healer isn't really a viable build unless you're late game, right? Because if you get a staff, yeah, you're going to be able to do a heal, but you really want those set pieces and stuff to give you the bonuses and things to hit those heals, and the mythics and things like that. So if you're in like the first like tier 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that type of thing, healing, being a healer isn't really. Did we just do Hail of a mistake and I wasn't paying attention? I think we did. Did I literally just do... I did. I was not even paying attention. I just did it and started talking. Wow, okay. Well, that was a waste of a raid. I was in there trying to get duo bombs on Thursday, and clearly I didn't change the raid around. I apologize. That was a waste of time. Anyway, I've forgotten what I was saying. Whoa, we just got fucking owned, man. What the hell? Swap these bad boys around. There we go. Oh yeah, being a healer. Yeah, so you can have a staff, and which will allow you to do healing, but it's not really a build, because you're just going to have, you know, rare epics and maybe some legendaries and stuff like that with a staff. It's but once you get late game and you can get some like healing set items and stuff, then a healer build comes into it. So I would say early on, while you're leveling up and getting to endgame, tank or DPS is your way to go. And then once you're endgame, if you want to go a healer, you can kind of work around that. But changing builds requires a lot of investment of everything. Time, luck, RNG, gold, the current tiers. So like this tier's unique thing, like beanstalks. It requires a lot to change builds, and as a free-to-play player, I just don't do it. I'm in this game, I'll be DPS for life, I think. I do actually have a decent-ish selection of like bait tank type stuff. Like I've got two decent epic healers, epic healing pets, I should say. I've got quite a few like block chants and absorb chants and stuff, legendary runes and all these things. But I don't think I'll ever change. It took me so long to get the accessory and pet I have, then going and starting all over again for defensive accessories and stuff. I got to get my legendary offensive first. So who knows? I mean, you can never say never, right? But if you're putting money into the game and stuff, and you're willing to kind of pay to speed up the process, then you can. And whatnot, but yeah, I would generally just stick with what you're doing and be content. And with you know, the raids and stuff like that, you need 5 raid members anyway. So if you go a tank, you're still going to need a DPS friend. So I actually find it harder to find to find really good high quality, high level, you know, decked out DPS friends these days, because everyone is a tank or a bait, because it's easier to be a tank or a bait. So in that sense, being a DPS is kind of good, because you can fill that void. So on my list, on my my raid team member list thing, Proz is my highest DPS and he's great. But next to him, I don't have that many like kick-ass DPSs because a lot of them have turned tank or bait. So yeah, it's an interesting discussion. If you are a tank or bait tank and you don't like it, or you're interested in being a DPS, or if you're a DPS and you're interested in being a tank, bait tank, all the rest of it, let me know. And let me know what your thoughts about it are and whether you think you're going to swap over, whether it be you're starting to do it now, or whether you're going to see what next tier and raid 7 holds for you and all that sort of stuff. But I'd be interested to know if people have, or already have for that matter, changed builds, or whether you're keen to do so. So yeah, that would be an interesting thing. On that kind of similar onto that topic, there have been a lot of high level players who have quit the game recently in the last kind of, I'm gonna say, maybe 6 months. There's been quite a few high level, like Chaos Guild lost a heap of people, and just in general, there's just been a lot of high level players that have just gone, you know what, I'm done with this, like for whatever reason. Maybe it's a pay to win thing and they're just not getting the returns that they used to for the amount of money they were putting in, or they're not happy with how the game's progressing, or they just got bored, who knows. But there have been a significant, what it seems to be at least, this is kind of speculation on my part, but a lot of people have echoed this thought as well, that a lot of the high level players have kind of dropped off. Of course, there's still shitloads around. Okay, it looks like Raid 6 Heroic is going to be not too much of a dick today, which is nice. So, again, that makes it even harder. So, all those high-level DPS players and stuff like that, that maybe you've got on your friends list that are no longer playing, like when it gets to Tier 7, sorry, Raid 7, Tier 10, they won't obviously progress or get any better, and then you're gonna, all your DPS, high-level DPS people are going to be redundant, and you'll just kick them off your friends list because they're no good anymore. Stuff like that. But that's just the way it goes with games like this. You get influx of players, people leave. The people that are kind of in the medium range get stronger and they become the top tier, and da-da-da-da-da. It's the way with everything. It's only natural. Can't believe I did a raid 4, that's funny. Okay, well, no loot so far. Obviously, raid 4 didn't help. We didn't get anything from trials. We didn't get anything from this raid. Let's do one more maybe, and then we'll do some world boss. Or maybe 2 more, we'll see. We'll see how we go. I do have 10 bounties I've just discovered. I haven't been able to play too much recently. I've started working more than I used to as of this week just gone. So today's Sunday. So on Monday I've started putting in more hours at work and working more regularly and stuff. So I haven't had as much time to play games basically as I used to. I'm still trying to put in recordings and make sure that I've got time to do recordings of whatever Let's Play. So at the moment, Secret of Mana, and I'll do my Thursday and Sunday Bit Heroes stuff. But as far as like casual games on my phone and things like that, I haven't had as much time. So my hours in Bit Heroes this week have gone down quite a bit, which has meant that I placed lower in PvP and Trials Gauntlet than I normally do. And it also means that I just haven't been on as much to do as much content, to do as many raids and stuff as I probably would have liked. And all those bounties and stuff have built up. The bounties building up is not a big deal. So let's quickly take a look at them. I got 10 of them. PvP, defeat the heroic dungeons without players. I haven't done a dungeon in a while. Because I got all of those I got all the warties and the gems that I needed. I haven't done a heroic dungeon in a while because I haven't needed to, because I'm not really farming any boss at the moment, any epic fam at the moment, so they're kind of building up, so I'm just gonna have to do some to get these out of the way. 3 treasure chests in dungeons, that'll just happen. 3 treasure chests in heroic dungeons, again, haven't been doing dungeons. Complete 3 heroic dungeons. So if I just do 3 heroic dungeons by myself, I'll knock out a shitload of these. Yeah, heaps, pretty much all of them, nearly. So that's what I'll do. Get them out of the way, because you can't have more than 10. And, you know, some of the rewards can be decent. Like, I think in there was some gem rewards. So you definitely don't want to really miss out on them. And you want to keep your bounties down low so that you are getting the new ones every day. Because if you're going to get a bounty that gives you gems, they're pretty much, you don't really need to try too hard to actually complete them. So let's have a quick look again. 15 gems, another 15, that's 30 gems for just playing the game naturally and doing nothing, like really out of the ordinary, is pretty good. So you don't want to get to 10 and leave it at 10 and not get any new bounties in, because the bounties you get in might be ones worth gems or something, which are really good, obviously. But yes, so as a general kind of rule, I haven't been online on Bit Heroes as much, or on my Discord server as much this week, and going forward, at least until I get more into the swing of things, because I am picking up more hours at work and stuff, to try and get more back into that. So I won't go into the long gist of things, but I've been quite unwell for the last couple of years. I got influenza and then got diagnosed with chronic fatigue syndrome, and I've got some mental stuff going on, like depression, anxiety stuff going on. So there's been a lot going on, and I haven't been working much. And now I'm trying to get back into it and try and, you know, put my foot back in the door, or dip my toe back in, or, you know, that thing, and try and do more hours and push myself a little bit harder and da-da-da-da-da. So, which is good, which is something I've needed to do for a while. It just means that I'm not around as much as I used to be, that's all. Okay, so we'll finish this raid off, and then I think we'll do some world boss and then call it there. As I mentioned, it is now nearly 4 PM, and I do have to go out tonight. I'm going to friends for dinner, and I've got to do some things around the house before we go out. So, oh, here we go. Sprout. Okay, so the gist for capturing fams is you have to call them. You have to be a dick to them, right? You have to abuse them. And then they feel real bad, and then they come with you. So at the moment, saying you're mean to them has 100% success rate, so I don't want to ruin that. We'll retire the you're mean. So let's say, and we don't want to abuse parents, because that's not cool. So let's say that you've got a face like a toilet. They didn't like it. I mean, I wouldn't like having a face like a toilet either. You don't want people shitting all over your face. More shitting in your face. If you're shitting all over a toilet, you're doing it wrong. Maybe don't do that. There is a hole in the middle. That's where you aim for. And if you're sitting on a toilet, you can't really not aim. This is a weird conversation already. But if you have a fam come up and you really need it, that's when you abuse them and you pull out the you're mean. Just call them mean and then persuade, and you'll get them. 100% success rate. And even Spooky tried to do it. Where is he? He's in here somewhere. We were talking about it recently. Here we go. I just got my 3rd Ombus after following Chook's advice and saying it's mean. I'm telling you, it works. Call them mean, and they join you. It's the way to do it. So there hasn't been any badge related content for a while. There was expedition, and then I didn't get to clicking that in time. I always forget you can press spacebar until it's too late. Swap these guys around. There was expedition, and then like a week off, and then there was GVG. Then there was a week off, and then there was invasion, and then since then it feels like it's been a couple of weeks. And there hasn't been any badge related things in the game, so perhaps next week there'll be some badge related thing. That would be good, I guess. I've got some guild honor like built up, waiting to buy badges. Sometimes I buy energy as well, depending on what the bonus is and stuff. So like when there was the world boss bonus, 100% item final world bosses, like I spent a shitload on energy potions just to do that, because I find that I get more legendaries. Obviously not set pieces and mythics and all that, but just legendaries to break down for beanstalks and stuff. I feel like I get more of them from world boss than anywhere else. Let's finish that one up. So when there's a bonus to world bosses, particularly on the bonus, like if it's doubled or when there was that 100% extra item find on world boss, that's when sometimes I just go nuts on the energy potions. But generally I save my guild honor for badges, so that when expedition does come around, I can smack it out and try and get what I want. So the first invasion that came around, I wanted Fatty, spent all of my badges and badge pouches and guild honor, everything on badges, didn't get the Fatty mount, was super disappointed about that. And then this new one came around and I tried, and same thing, I used all of my badges and all of my guild honor and everything to get badge pouches and everything to get that bow from the first portal. Didn't get that either. So I've been quite unlucky with expeditions, and I think across both expeditions, every expedition I've ever done, I think I've gotten 1 set piece and 2 legendaries. So I've got 3 legendaries, effectively 3 drops out of I don't know how many expeditions I've done. So expeditions aren't really kind for me, we'll say, as far as RNG goes, but there's always next time, you know. Anyway, if we go to shop, we see I've built up 462k worth of honor. These badge pouches cost 1500, so 15,000, sorry, so I could buy quite a few of them for when it comes back around, which would be good. All right, let's do some world boss. We'll do a couple of these until it starts to take a bit too long or something. I can do these solo. I used to be able to do them solo 100% without any worries whatsoever, but since I changed my gear up, I've had a little bit more trouble. So I've got more TS than I used to, but if we just drop out of here for a sec. I used to have the 3 part of this set, if you remember. So gain full shields the first time when you drop below 50% 50% health. When I had that, I could clear the tier 9 Netherworld by myself without having to worry, because if I got low, it would just pop me up to full shields, and then it's effectively like getting a half health, half heal, half HP heal shield thing. So I could do that with that, no worries. When I had a 2 set, it increases its chance to absorb attacks by 2. That obviously helped a little bit. But now I have way more TS, but I don't have, especially the first time you drop below 50% shield thing anymore. So sometimes, well, let's have a go. We'll summon and we'll do it myself, and I'll show you what I mean. Sometimes it's like you do it without even worrying, and it's like piss easy, which seems to be this one. Like no threat whatsoever of dying. Let's try again. And then sometimes you get so super close to doing it and you die. I'm sure, again, if I did it on manual, I'd do it without worrying, without trying. But here, that got pretty low. I got chunked there a little bit. But in general, like, I can do it myself. It's not too bad. But I would say 1 in 10, maybe, I don't actually complete. And as I've mentioned before, when it comes to doing normal, hard, or heroic difficulty, or whatever it is in raids, unless you can guarantee 100% that you're going to clear it every single time without fail, drop down a difficulty. So here, this one was close, right? I almost died there. So there's no point doing a world boss if I have the 1 in 10 chance of dying. That's 1 out of 10 times I'm not going to get loot. So I may as well just join up with people and be able to 100% complete it. And I have no issues or worries about dying, and that's the way to do it. But I used to be able to do it with just myself, with absolutely no threat whatsoever. But since I lost that set bonus, I haven't been able to do it as confidently, even though I've got more TS, which is kind of what I was talking about before, harkening back a little bit towards okay, let's stop world boss there, and we'll go quickly into some gear stuff, which I was talking about earlier about the healing thing. Like if you put a staff on, yeah, you can heal, but it's not really whereas if you have the sets and stuff that help you, I don't have them, but I've got the other mythic somewhere. Here it is, Bedlam. Yeah, increases the potency of your healing skills by 8%. So if you chuck that on, all of a sudden all the heals that you're doing with your staff are 8% stronger, so that's going to help. So if you mix this in with do I have any other sets? No, I don't have any other healing sets anyway. But there are healing set pieces. So if you have a couple of the healing set pieces on, and then you have Bedlam on, all of a sudden you're like a shit hot healer, right? But just the staff by itself isn't going to do too much. So that's why I say, like, just go with a DPS build and don't really worry about healing until you get those set pieces and mythics and whatever. So yeah, tank or DPS is the way to go when leveling up. Anyway, we'll leave it here. We didn't get anything, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is bid heroes, so that's the way to go. I gimped myself by doing a wrong raid as well, which was hilarious. But that is Sunday Item Find done for another week. So when we come back to Thursday, we will continue on trying to get Walcom to +5. I did mention in Thursday's video about once he gets to +5, I'm not really sure what we're going to do, and I asked you guys for your opinions. A few of you commented, but I didn't get as much response as I was hoping for. So if you haven't seen that video, or you're interested, or you want to give me your thoughts, or you know, advice or whatever it is to what I should do on Thursday capture rate after I've +5'd Walcom, then maybe give that a video a shot. I'll look at and then comment below with what you think I should do. Either way, we'll leave it here for now. Hopefully you enjoyed it. As always, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. If you like this video, click here to see another one just like it. If you're new to the channel and like what I'm doing, click here to subscribe and become the newest member of the Chicken Coop. If you really like what I'm doing, you can find a link to my Patreon in the description, where you can help support me and help the channel grow. You'll also find a link to the channel's Discord server where you can chat with me and other members of the Chicken Coop. And don't forget to hit that notification bell.